Here are the top stories of the news. President-elect Bola Tinubu says he's ill and hearty, contrary to speculations. APC suspends Taraba South Senator-elect and governorship aspirant. On foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden launches campaign for re-election bid. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Okwayemuni. Upon his return to Nigeria from France yesterday, the president-elect Bola Tinubu says he's ill and hearty, contrary to speculations that he was seriously ill. He stated this at his residence in the Asokoro area of Abuja shortly after his return from France. Addressing supporters, he said he's prepared for his inauguration on May 29, adding that he's still consulting with those that will be part of his government. On rumors about his health, Tinubu said whatever they said they like, they speculate, he was healthy, sound, and okay. Tinubu returned with his wife and was received by the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima, amongst many other high-ranking members of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress, APC in Taraba State, has suspended the senator-elect for Taraba South District, David Jimkuta, for anti-party activities during the elections. The party also expelled a governorship aspirant of the party in the just concluded 2023 general elections, David Sabo Kente, for alleged anti-party activities. The party state chairman, El Sudi Ibrahim, at a press conference in Jalingo, asked Mr. Sabo Kente to stop parading himself as a member of the party and has recommended the senator-elect to the National Executive Committee office for expulsion. Mr. Asudi insists he remains the chairman of the party as reinstated by the court against the controversies of a vote of no confidence passed against him by some members of a state working committee. Here in Osun State, less than 2 months before its inauguration, different reactions have trailed the alleged support of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke for the margins of member-elect representing Odo-Otin State constituency, Wale Egbedu, as Speaker of the 8th Osun State House of Assembly. Speaking on Morning Spring, a Western Spring Television news and current affairs program, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor and Director of Osun PDP's Media, Oladele Bamiji, maintains that the House leadership remains up to members-elect, while human rights activist and political commentator Wahid Saka described the controversies as an unnecessary distraction. Emmanuel Uduadugele has more on the story.
The 8th Osun Assembly is not due for inauguration until June this year, but it is already courting controversies, especially on the position of Speaker of the House. This time, the latest twist is the suit filed by 2 members-elect on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Akinyode Oyewusi of Ife North constituency and Bamidele Lawal of Oshogbo constituency. Both men have asked an Osun State High Court to declare that the provision of Rule 4A of the Osun State House of Assembly Legislative Standing Rules is inconsistent with the provision of Section 92, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Rule 4A of the Assembly Standing Rules states that a member-elect addressing the clerk shall propose a ranking member-elect from the majority party, that such member-elect do take the chair of the House as Speaker of the House of Assembly, provided such a nomination shall be seconded by another member-elect. The lawmakers argued that the standing rule negates the spirit of Section 92, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, which simply states that there shall be a Speaker and a Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly who shall be elected by the members of the House from among themselves. This controversy is said to have arisen from Governor Ademola Adeleke's preference for the emergence of member-elects representing Odo-Otin Wale Egbedu as Speaker. But Senior Special Assistant to the Governor and Director of Osun PDP's Media, Oladele Bamiji, says there is no official position on who gets what yet.
For us, the Governor is one. It's the leader of our party. And if it is even true that he's interested in one person, Wale Egbedu or whoever, his right must not be taken away. Just can be interested in anyone. But the ultimate in this case is that the choice of the Speaker of the 8th Assembly of Osun State is down to the members of the House as elected. That is, nobody can erase that.
He insists that all 25 PDP members-elect should have a shot at any position.
Having won as members of Osun State House of Assembly, the onus is, or the burden is on those members to elect, so to say, whoever leads them at this particular time. It is not, yes, the party can just call them as leaders of the party to guide them, to advise them in this instance. It is not for us to, we cannot bomb into the house and say this is who you must elect as your speaker, the deputy speaker, the majority leader, and another principal officers.
Human rights activist and political commentator Waheed Saka, however, faults the move by members-elect to file that suit.
But when they went to court, they are not seeking the interpretation of the law, like my friend inside your studio said. They are seeking to set aside the rule of the house. Two different things. They are seeking to set aside the rule of the house, which means they are not only setting aside the ranking membership that is eligible to take the chair of the house. They inadvertently setting aside the majority party involved in that section of the law, because there is no way you can set aside that law and still retain the majority party at the head of the house. They may be very, very happy today that 25 won in the house, but in the future there will be a time that do not be like that.
Mr. Waka says the members-elect should focus on their impending assignment of lawmaking rather than whipping up controversies.
As a matter of fact, it's not Nigeria nationally acceptable practice, and we should not dabble into such. The important thing for the House of Assembly is to help Mr. Governor achieve his aim, not to go there and fight who become what.
All right,
that is not the way.
That
is not the intention of those who put House of Assembly as legislative arm of our government.
On the incoming 8th Assembly, the PDP has a majority of 25 lawmakers, while the All Progressives Congress has just one member. It remains to be seen what becomes of the matters arising from the jostling and lobbying for principal office.
In Imo State, 3 members of the House of Representatives from the state have dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. With the supporters, the Imo State Governor, Uzodimma, received the defectors into the party at the Rear Admiral Ndubuisi Kanu Square, Owerri, the state capital, yesterday. The federal lawmakers include Honorable Ikenna Eleziahia, Honorable Bede Eke, Honorable Henry Nwawuba, and a host of other individuals, and comes ahead of the November 11 governorship elections in the state. In his welcome address, Governor Uzodimma, who is seeking re-election for his second term, assured the defectors that the APC was one, saying whether old or new, all the members are one. To security matters, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command has confirmed that one life was lost in a squabble between some Hausa and Gbagi youths. The FCT police spokesperson, Josephine Ade, confirmed the incident yesterday. She said the acting FCT Commissioner of Police, DCP Ahmed Musa, has met with traditional rulers of both the Hausa and Gbagi communities in Gwarimpa at his office to broker peace between both groups. According to reports, the fight broke out over the weekend when a group of Hausa youths who reportedly sold hard drugs attempted to burgle and rob the household of a councillor of the ward. However, social media videos revealed that fighting resumed yesterday, but the police was able to restore order in the area. In the meantime, the traditional ruler of Agwara, David Obadofe, in Kababono local government area of Kogi State, has died in the custody of his abductors. Obadofe was said to have passed on last Thursday, 12 days after he was kidnapped, when he could no longer withstand the torture of his captivity. However, his co-abductee, Temidayo Elewa, has been set free, with family members picking her up at Obajana, a cement town in Lokoja local government area. It It was gathered that when the abductors noticed that Obadofin was becoming too weak, they agreed to collect 2 million naira for the release of the 2 victims and started mounting pressure for the payment. While the blindfolded Timidayo separated her to a different location, the monarch died before the ransom could be delivered. While in Plateau, at least 6 persons were yesterday confirmed dead after suspected terrorists attacked residents in 2 separate communities of the state. It was gathered that while 2 persons were killed in Wereng village, Kuru community, just south local government area, by the fleeing terrorists, 4 persons were killed in Apang community, Barakin Ladi local government area of the state. The 2 separate incidents occurred on Sunday night. Spokesman for the military task force in charge of maintaining peace in the state, Captain Oya James, confirmed the killing of 2 persons in Just South community. He said officers were immediately deployed there, but unfortunately, 1 person was already shot dead before they got to the community. Away from security, the Plateau State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has debunked allegations of the employment and expansion of wage bills against the state governor, Simon Bako Lalong. The party said that Mr. Lalong remains constitutionally elected governor of the state until the handover to a new dispensation on May 29, 2023. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, had earlier accused the outgoing administration of plotting evil against the incoming government by expanding the state civil service wage bills through contractual obligations and increased payroll. The PDP in a statement further accused the government of hiring no fewer than 11,000 workers on various cadres since the last general elections, especially in state-owned tertiary institutions. In a swift reaction, the APC State Publicity Secretary, Honorable Silvanus Namang, said it was an ongoing exercise that began a few weeks after the current administration assumed office in May 2015. He stated that the PDP's position that it only embarked on employment in the civil and public service towards the twilight of the administration was a clear mischief to tarnish the image of APC-led government in the state. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
The legendary Queen of Zazao is best known to historians as Queen Amina of Zaria, an old walled town and capital of the Hausa state of Zazao. Amina was a great warrior and the first woman to rule the ancient kingdom of Zazao. Her 34 years as queen witnessed an unprecedented expansion of Zazao by conquests. Queen Amina of Zaria belongs to the class of Amazons by the might of her army and her strings of conquests. She opened Zaria to trans-border trade and was said to have initiated kola nut cultivation in the ancient kingdom. The Hausa Muslim figure was born in 1533 and died in 1610 at the age of 77 years. Folklores remember Aminatu, the queen of Zazao, as a brave, smart and talented leader whose giant statue now adorns the National Arts Theatre in Lagos, Nigeria, while many educational institutions bear her name. Western Spring Television identifies Queen Amina as a watershed character in history. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti was an educationist and advocate of women's rights. She was recognized for her vitriolic comments against colonial policy of taxation as it affected the Nigerian women. Bere, as fondly addressed by her women followers, Fumilayo championed the initiation of universal adult suffrage, which gave an unprecedented leeway for women to contest elective offices and power to exercise voting rights. married to a foremost educationist and teacher, Israel Oladotun Ransom Kuti. The first president of Nigeria Union of Teachers, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, was the mother of children who inherited her spirit of activism. Olufela and Be Ololari, the former, a renowned musical legend. She was the first female student of Abeokuta Grammar School and the first female to own and drive a car in Nigeria. The award recipient of Member of Order of Nigeria MON and Lenin Peace Prize was born 25th October 1900 and was killed on 13th April 1978 by rampaging road soldiers in Lagos. Western Spring Television identifies Fumilayo Ransom Kuti as a watershed character in history.
Welcome back on Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. Now to the rest of the stories. President Muhammadu Buhari will depart Abuja for Accra later today to attend the third extraordinary session of Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the Gulf of Guinea Commission. According to a statement by spokesman Femi Adesina yesterday, the president is scheduled to participate and deliver remarks at the high-level discussion on strategies for strengthening peace and security and the fight against maritime-related crimes in the region. He noted that the president will be accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, the National Security Advisor, NSA, the Director General National Intelligence Agency, NIA, among other government officials. Talking business, Nigeria lost about 65,700,000 barrels of oil in the last 1 year due to issues bordering on pipeline vandalism and resultant oil theft. This translates to about 2.3 trillion naira loss in oil revenue if the prevailing exchange rate and average oil price are used. The chairman of Shell Companies in Nigeria, Dr. Sage Okubo, gave the figures at the just concluded Nigerian International Energy Summit held in Abuja. He said the 180,000 barrels per day Trans-Niger pipeline had remained shut for more than 1 year, March 2022 to March 2023. Meanwhile, First Republic Bank shares sank more than 20% after the closing bell yesterday, as it said deposits plunged by more than $100 billion in the first quarter. The deposit slump overshadowed profits that beat expectations for the beleaguered company shot up through deposits from U.S. banking giants last month after two regional lenders collapsed. The San Francisco-based First Republic said it plans to shrink its balance sheet and slash expenses by cutting executive compensation, paring back office space, and laying off nearly 20 to 25% of its employees in the second quarter. The company also aims to increase its insured deposits and cut borrowings from the Federal Reserve Bank. Meanwhile, United States President Joe Biden has officially launched his campaign for re-election in 2024, becoming the Democratic frontrunner in a race that could pit him for a second time against Republican contender Donald Trump. Mr. Biden's announcement this morning came on the 4th anniversary of his first successful presidential bid, launched on April 25, 2019. According to a recent poll, a majority of Democrats have said they would back Biden, aged 80, against a Republican challenger in next year's election. But the Democratic president faces some of the lowest approval ratings of his tenure so far and his age, as he is currently the oldest person to hold the U.S.'s highest office.
Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes from the very wealthy, dictating what health care decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country.
Thank you for choosing us.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to.
In Africa's United Nations Humanitarian Office has been forced to cut back on some of its activities in parts of Sudan due to intense fighting. Spokesperson for United Nations Humanitarian Office, James Lurk, made this known this morning, noting that the agency is committed to continue to deliver for the people of Sudan. He stated that in areas where intense fighting has hampered humanitarian operations, the body has been forced to reduce its footprint. There were reports of heavy fighting near the presidential palace in the northern part of the capital, Khartoum, this morning. Elsewhere, India will overtake China as the world's most populous country in the coming week, eating almost 1.43 billion people. The United Nations made this known yesterday, revealing that by the end of this month, India's population is expected to reach 1,425,777 1,425,775,850 people, matching and then surpassing the population of mainland China. Last week, the UN's annual State of World Population Report had said the milestone would come by mid-year 2023. India is topping China due to both rapid growth in its own population and the decline in China's after eating 1.426 billion last year. Regarded as the world's most heavily populated country since the fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century CE, China is expected to decline steadily to around 1 billion people by the end of this century, according to UN projections. Talking sport, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has said the game against Manchester City will not decide the season. Arteta stated this ahead of his side crucial tie with City tomorrow, noting that what City has done in the last 6 to 7 years deserves credit. Arsenal boss said his side was working on the threats City poses as well as the weaknesses.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough night and challenge, yes, but the opportunity is incredible for us. And we knew from the beginning, you want to win a Premier League, you have to go to Spurs and you have to beat them. You have to go to Chelsea and you have to beat them. You have to go away from them and you have to beat them. And this is what we've been doing. That's why we are here. And now we have to go to City and you have to beat them. You want to be champion, you have to win those matches. It's as simple as that.
Barcelona FC have finally secured funding to regenerate their Camp Nou stadium and the surrounding areas. The club initially announced renovation plans in 2014, but a host of problems since have meant only a small part of the work has been placed. The project now looks set to accelerate quickly upon the completion of a season, with Barca confirming yesterday that 20 investors have made 1.45 billion euros available. Barca assured concerned fans that club assets were not used as a guarantee and a mortgage wasn't taken out of a stadium. Repayments are said to be made in installments paid at 5, 7, 9, 20, and 24 years with a flexible structure. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our top stories. Upon his return to Nigeria from France yesterday, the president-elect Bola Tinubu says he's ill and hearty, contrary to speculations that he was seriously ill. The All Progressives Congress APC in Taraba State has suspended the senator-elect for Taraba South District, David Jimkuta, for anti-party activities during the elections. On the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden has officially launched his campaign for re-election in 2024. becoming the Democratic frontrunner in a race that could pit him for a second time against Republican contender Donald Trump. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12. I am Okoye Muni. Thanks for watching.